Oh, hello. Happy Friday. How's it going, y'all? Let me just... I forgot to send the go live notification. We've survived another week. Oh. All right. Let's get to it. This has been kind of a weird week for game dev here. I feel like I've been kind of thwarted at every turn this week, which is fine. That's what happens sometimes. It's kind of maddening, but what are you going to do? Except just, get back at it and try again. I tried to add system references like this, where you could just say, yeah, if game input views count is greater than 0, just game view system run. This wasn't working yesterday for a hilarious reason, which is in the script that was declaring them all. This is deeply embarrassing for me. Instead of just equals new, I had the expression body ligature thing. I had the arrow equals. So it was just making a new edit system every time it was being called. It was deeply embarrassing. But now we just have a list of all the systems that we've implemented in the game, which is great. It's outside. We don't need any fancy stuff. Like, I was considering having, like, you could get the system from the game world, but then you'd have to, like, register these systems and store them generically, and whereas, like, interfaces, and it's this whole thing. I didn't want to do it. So instead, we just have a real simple solution. No. All right. So we did that. That works. We can go on to something else now. So as far as what I want to work on today, let's see. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got in the checklist. All right, get system singletons. That's done. I don't even want to... This feels like such a minor thing. I'm not even going to... I don't even want to put it on the list here. Oh, because I guess it's multiple parts. Now there's a second part of this, which I guess we should do, is I want to re-register. So right now, when you have like a data singleton, like here, like world.settled blocks or world.preview blocks or world.merging blocks, right now these are being owned and registered just in the main game script, which I don't want to do. I want a system to register these. I think in this case it'd be the edit system. So I want to change this. Hey, Rhiannon Journey. How's it going? So yeah, I want to move these down to more to their domain. So I think at the moment these are only being utilized by the editor subsystems, which is tool system, fill system, and tile system. So rather than pull these straight from the world, I'm going to have them created and registered in the system that owns them. Because otherwise, we're just going to have an increasingly large list of like singletons, and I don't want to do that. It's one thing to store all of the systems in a list on the game script, but more than that, I think would be too far. So what we want to do, we got the edit system here. What we want to do is we want to clear some of these here. So we can say like public. Do we need the entity ID? Just the entity ID, right? Yeah. Entity ID. Only issue is this needs to be set in ready, in the ready function. Rhiannon Journey, will this refactoring also make other types of systems more flexible in the future, like ship systems and stuff? You think you understand how it will help the editor systems, but you're interested in how it will cascade into future dev also. I think it's just a matter of organization as far as where we put the entity singleton that holds like a particular buffer or something like that. But having this list of game systems that can be accessed by other systems, I think this will help us later because it will allow us to understand system dependency order without having to explicitly script it. Like we could just analyze where in the process or in what order are systems referring to other systems. And so we could just have some system ordering stuff. Like we could be saying like, okay, the system, the tool system asks about the tile, or the tile system asks about something in the tool system. Well, does the tile system run before the tool system? Because that would be weird. So I think this part will help in terms of system ordering and understanding maybe system grouping. And then just getting the singletons out of the registration of the singletons out of the game script is just to clean up the game script. The game script is really supposed to just be our window into Godot. It's supposed to be the one thing accessible to everyone, which is why it's where I'm putting like the game systems and stuff. So it has these static read-only things here. Ooh, here's one thing that's wrong. Got to get rid of this. Gotta say main system dot ready. And then here we need to say main system dot run. Rhiannon Journey, as far as you're concerned, just having better organization is a big win. Yeah. I don't like when I open a file and it's enormous and I'm like, I don't know where anything is, and this file's like thousands of lines long, which is why I don't mind, like, we have our we've made the game script. Well, the game script is already a partial class, but we've just made additional files. So we have like another file that's the game state file that has everything to do with game state, and now another file that just has the list of systems. I like to do that just so I don't have to look at everything all the time. We've done the same thing for like components. So there's like the component script, and then there's like component type scripts for just listing out the actual types in use and ordering them. Same thing with the flags, which I would love to be able to get rid of the flags and just have the types, but I haven't figured out how to do that yet. Yeah, I don't want to have to surface. The less you can surface at a time, the more precise you can be when you go looking for something, right? That's nice. All right, so you would say like entity ID. We would say something like, what were we going to call these? We'd decided before. Now I don't remember. It's, tool system. Oh, I had all these comments and they're gone now. Dang it. We rolled some stuff back. We were gonna have an erase block. Here, let me see. Let me try to remember what we were doing. Oh, it was in the tool system, wasn't it? So we were gonna do something like You do that a lot with PHP with traits. You open a class and then you just use a bunch of traits that add all of the functionality. Oh, that's nice. We were going to have like an erase. There was going to be like erase, replace. It's going to be like pending. I think it was like erasing. It wasn't placing. It was like, maybe it was placing. I don't remember what it was. It was like erasing, setting, pending, merging, and like settled. Hey, Skywalk, how's it going? So like erasing and placing, these could just be pure tool system singletons. And then like pending and settling, these could be like editor system ones. Well, settled ones probably should be. Settled blocks. We're doing good. I'm kind of tired. Now I've got a sneeze that's stuck. You know, when you just like are on the verge of sneezing. It's a conundrum when you have a microphone like 4 inches from your face. Yeah, we're just kind of maybe frustrated with the lack of progress this week. This week has not been a productive week. You're tired too? You stayed up late refactoring code. Today you're stuck with a bad XYZ positioning. Oh no. Yeah. All my efforts to do matrix multiplication, like linear transformation stuff this week has failed. It's pretty frustrating. It's also something kind of hard to debug. I'm convinced there's aspects where we're like saying we're transforming, because we do a lot of transforming back and forth, and I'm convinced we're providing some coordinates that aren't in the correct space. Like from either from like the input handler or somewhere else, and there's something going on, but it's just like hard to debug sometimes, so we're just ignoring it. That's going to be like a serious offline debugging session probably. So right now what we're doing is we're making it so we just made it so that any system can call any other system, and we're moving the singletons that hold certain things like component buffers used by multiple systems. We're moving those onto the systems that should own them. And then once we do that, we can make some more, because we need some additional buffers to operate on here. And so we've just been organizing. Skywalk, you thought you would preload your texture model and clone them. Your texture and your model, and then clone them and reposition them. Rotate so your spawns are at correct place. They've been stacking one on top of each other for the last 3 hours. No clue what's happening. Oh man, yeah, that's tough. That sort of thing, in my mind, that sort of thing usually happens if you like, it's like when I see that, I immediately think that there's a system ordering problem. Like, you're spawning the thing, then rendering it, and then positioning it, so everything like appears at the origin. But that should only happen for a frame, right? They should appear at the origin and then appear in the right place. But if they're never moving to the right place, then yeah, it sounds like you are also dealing with some spatial annoyance stuff. What did you call this issue? The name? I just said, like, I think it's like when I see it, when I see that happening, I think that you're rendering the thing after spawning them in at like the world origin or something before the transform system runs. So like you're rendering them before you're transforming them, but that would only affect you for one frame because then the transform system should eventually move them. But if they're just stuck there forever, I'm not sure what that is. Spatial. Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like some kind of spatial issue. Like you're plugging in a coordinate that doesn't correspond to the space in which the thing is being placed, right? That's the problem I'm dealing with, because I'm trying to move things back and forth from camera space manually, which is not good. That's the sort of thing a game engine typically just handles for you. And I'm kind of tempted to set up a transform for the camera, just so I can use some transform helper functions to help me get coordinates into and out of camera space. I think that's the next thing I'm going to try to do, rather than trying to calculate things like manually here. I don't know. I'm not sure. Not sure what I want to do. The problem is it's a 2D camera that's actually in 3D space, but I'm doing everything in 2D, and I think that's causing me a problem. I don't know. But we picked something easy to work on today, because yeah, I'm feeling fatigue. And then tomorrow is Saturday, so instead of doing our usual game dev stuff, we're going to play a game. We're going to do a Let's Play. I think we're going to play the new RimWorld expansion that just came out today. I think we'll do that tomorrow. All right, public entity ID. So who should own this? Who? Let me see what owns what here. Here's what I'm going to do. Get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of the reference to this entity, which is in the world. I'm going to get rid of... Yeah, I don't want to be holding singletons in the world like this. Get that out of here. So if we just don't have this anymore, who freaks out? All three of you. So if all three of you use this, then your parent system should probably own it. So that's what I'm going to do. Public entity ID, settled blocks. And then what we need to do is we need the ready function. And then in the ready function, we will move this stuff down. So we're going to reserve an entity for the edit system groups, so-called settled block buffer. Settled blocks buffer. And so instead it will just be, oops. These are references here. Cannot access non-static create entity in a static context. Do I have to say game.world? Probably, yeah. Rihanna Journey, you like my error-driven approach? My error-driven development. That is my... I never thought of it that way, but that's my approach to coding, is I make errors. I make many egregious errors. So the edit system also is going to need to know what the edit... So right now we just have a game.board, which is fine. I don't like having it here, but I'm going to do it. All right. Settled blocks. we use this room buffer anywhere? Oh, whatever. Yeah, as someone who does most of their day job programming in like JavaScript sort of stuff, I really love a language where you can just like get real compile time errors instead of just running it and being like, I wonder what's undefined right now. And then having to trace a variable back through its lifetime to figure out why it's undefined. I hate that. I hate dynamically typed languages. Okay, so settled blocks is now going to say, instead of game_world.getComponent. Okay, well, it still needs to say this, game.world.getComponent, but instead of game.world.setSystems, it's going to say game.editSystem.settled_blocks. I think that's fine. Oh, yeah, what did I call these preview blocks? Oh, that's instead of merging, I called them preview blocks. Yeah, that's good. Do I need a separate pending blocks buffer? Or is it the combination of erasing and placing? Let's do it like this for now. Because yeah, we can combine together. So yeah, okay. So we only need 4 buffers. We don't need 5. Okay, that works. All right, who references this stuff? Here we go. So we're going to say game.editSystem.settled_blocks. Pretty small changes here. Just changing who owns what. Rhiannon Journey, you used to hate languages of strict typing, but you've really come to love it. Paired with an IDE that has refactoring tools and even things like seeing all usages of something at a glance is a huge, huge help. I know, right? I agree. First real language you fell in love with was Ruby. Everything is dynamic there. I've never used Ruby, but I could, yeah. Yeah. I started with a lot of JavaScript before getting into C#. And, you know, they're very similar languages to an extent. But, yeah. The differences are huge. Like, conceptually, it's not this big leap, but, like, the implementation details, they're so different. All right, so now we're going to move the preview block buffer. Oh, no, we just get rid of this. Okay, so that's 1 down. A few more to go here. So now we're going to have... So now, who gets upset when the preview blocks... So the preview blocks as was is now going to be the merging blocks. So I think preview blocks is really just used by the tool system. Yeah. Well, as was. But we're going to be calling it the merging blocks. I did this in the wrong order. Preview blocks is game.editSystem. So preview blocks should be owned by the edit system. Preview blocks. These are the 2 permanent ones. So there's like what could be and what is. Rhiannon Journey, imagine the built-in string class or any one or any packages can reopen that string class and redefine behavior of core functions. You can do that with anything. It's cool and it leads to some really beautiful code, but the magic can make it difficult to reason about. Yeah, I assume you're describing Ruby. That sounds insane. That sounds, just in terms of like understanding like package dependencies and like who's changing what's core functionality. The clean coders of this world, I feel like, would have an aneurysm if someone told them that. They're like, oh, you can actually fundamentally change some core functionality in a package that affects everyone else. All right, so we're going to reserve an entity for this as well. No, not game.world.preview blocks. Game. Oh, nothing. Preview blocks. World. I've been linking this word so much today that I'm like, what a weird word this is. I know I said that yesterday about system, but it's funny how words get like that. The more you say them or look at them, and you're just like, what a strange collection of letters this is. I should probably have like a constant of like max ship size or something like that. I guess it couldn't be a constant because it's a vector, but you can do something rather than what I'm currently doing. Okay, get rid of that. All right, who else is upset by this? Nobody. Okay, nobody uses the preview blocks. Oh, because they're called something else right now. Right. Right. So we actually need to do something else first. So this system is going to also own some. It's going to own some stuff. You're going to own public entity ID erasing blocks. And you're going to own placing blocks. And these are local to the tool system. I need to remember to run ready on all these functions. Or on all these systems. I mean, it'd be cool if I had like automatic system registration and stuff like that, so systems could be registered and initialized and whatever. But like, I'm gonna manually control all this stuff for now. We're trying to make it make sense by using like major systems and like minor systems, but we're not writing that down anywhere. That's just like an understanding that like the main system runs the major systems like the edit system and the view system. And then the edit system, if the edit system needs to run, it can be like, okay, which of my subsystems need to run, and it will control those. Like right now it runs the tool system. If the tool system makes a structural change, then it runs the fill system, and then it runs the tile system. This is going to be annoying to manage when we start to make these more asynchronous, which we did a little bit. We're going to try to avoid doing that as much as possible, because that's when entity component systems become really complicated. So when you have a bunch of systems running asynchronously. All right, so all you're going to do, say erasing blocks equals game.world.create entity. Same thing for you. And then we're going to say, I also need to add the buffer component. So I need to do this. So game.world add erasing blocks. Okay, same deal here. Might put on something a little livelier today. I don't know if livelier is the right word. Yeah, I want to listen to some of this. All right, so these are your systems. So you'll ready yourself, and then what you're going to do, so reserving an entity for the edits for the edit system. These comments mean nothing. Get rid of them. So now that you've done that, we can say tool system dot ready. Oh, we need to say game.toolsystem.ready. And then there's one more. Oh yeah, so what we need to do now, so we need to get rid of this reference to the preview blocks buffer because we're changing the name. So what used to be called the merging blocks buffer is now going to be called the preview blocks buffer. And then now we're going to just make a distinction between erasing blocks and placing blocks. So we'll erase all the blocks we want to erase, then place all the blocks we want to place, put that all in the preview blocks. Along with the settled blocks. So the preview blocks will look like the settled blocks, but include all of the blocks we're currently erasing and placing, but haven't yet finished doing so. Hey, Nix. How's it going? All right, so copy is reveal blocks in... It says preview blocks. So preview blocks, I think we're going to just swap it out. So anything that should be a placement will be placing, and then anything that should be an erasure will be erasing. The new DLC is out for RimWorld. You're playing? Nice. Yeah, I bought it this morning. We'll play it tomorrow. We'll do a Let's Play tomorrow on stream. I've decided. Because I'm kind of tired of working this week. So we'll probably do an extra long. If we have time, we'll do an extra long Let's Play tomorrow. Should be fun. You've never played it, and you've never actually watched anyone play it. Well, get ready for a game that is simultaneously incredibly boring, but also just absolutely thrilling. It's got that dwarf fortress, like most of the time nothing is really happening, and then all of a sudden everything is happening. Like most of the time you're just waiting for people to like smooth the stone floor and like sweep a kitchen. Or like tame a goat. And you're just waiting for them to do stuff, and then some crazy thing happens and you have to respond to it. It's fun. It's both very zen and very exciting. You never find RimWorld boring, and you have 3,000 hours in it on Steam. I feel like those things are those two facts about you, Nyx, are very tightly correlated. One might almost say causally related. I don't know how much time I have on Steam. I probably have like 500 hours or something on Steam. So like I've done my fair share of RimWorlding, but I'm certainly not at your level. I'm making a joke, Nyx. I'm saying like if you didn't find, or if you did find RimWorld boring, I don't think you would have reached 3,000 hours in it. All right, so placing blocks. Oh yeah, wait. Oh, I need to actually create these, huh? I need to say variable erasing blocks equals new buffer 3D read write block game.world.get component. Block buffer 3D game.edit system. Or no, it wouldn't be game.edit. It's just our own, right? Placing blocks. Component type flag. Yep. Okay. Easy. I'm going to make a mistake if I do it this way. I need to write this a little differently. I'm going to rewrite this as a erasing buffer. So this is the actual buffer. Same thing here. This is the settled buffer. Its naming convention is bad, but whatever. I can obsess about that later. Should I mention that these are singletons? Erasing blocks singleton. Erasing block singleton. Erasing blocks entity ID. I don't like putting the type in the name is the thing about it. Something about me. All right, so we've got these two, so we should be able to replace these. So this will be like the placing buffer. I think the vast majority of these are going to be the placing buffer. Reveal blocks in. Oh, hold on a second. So we use some data structures to hold on to stuff while we're waiting. Could these actually just be the same? Maybe I don't actually need these to be a memory buffer. Maybe these can actually just be a dictionary. Because we have like active blocks and hidden blocks. I'm a little concerned that if I split the placing blocks from the erasing blocks, you love a good suffix on your class names, Rihanna Journey. Yeah, that's one thing. I mean, on a class name, I feel like it's fine. I just don't like it when it's like, when I'm like, entity ID, erasing blocks. I don't want to put entity or entity ID in the... I want to take advantage of the fact that I've got an IDE that just lets me inspect things. Tell me what's the type. But, so what we have here, we have some dictionaries that we can use. That we could, in fact, clear every single time. So, yeah, I actually kind of like... I like the idea of maybe doing it this way with dictionaries. Instead of having buffer. Because I think if it's data that's only going to be used within a given system, I don't want to set it up as this whole thing. So we're gonna just comment this out in case I change my mind. So I don't have to rewrite this. Oh, yeah, no, I'm talking about variable names, sorry. This has been a quiet week. I don't mind, because this has felt like a very poor week for me in terms of working on the game. I had another really nice conversation with the YouTube commenter who left us that message in episode 204, and we responded to it in 205. Finally got to talk to them again. It's really good. It's really nice. So here's the thing. So we have active blocks and hidden blocks, and basically active blocks is like all of the blocks that we're going to be putting into the preview, I think. And the hidden blocks is like all of the blocks that are being covered up by that preview. And in that case, do I even need multiple things? Could I just erase the thing from the active blocks or place something in the active blocks? And then not mess with the hidden blocks? Ooh, maybe I could do it like that. Rather than just storing these things and using them. I'm gonna comment this out again because I might change my mind and we might go back to doing it this way. I mean, I could always just make a buffer on the system. The nice thing about the dictionary is it's like I only have to process what I need. I don't have to iterate through the entire buffer just to process a handful of elements if it's a dictionary. Sounds like he wasn't very nice from the way I said very nice. I sounded rather sarcastic. No, that's just how I talk. That's just how I talk, Nix. He was nice. Or they. Again, I don't know. They were very nice. We had a little more back and forth in the comments, and they were very sweet. Their first comment was like, God, I sound like an asshole when someone reads this out loud. And I was like, that's everyone. Everyone on the internet sounds like an asshole when they write something down and someone else reads it. That's just being on the internet. I thought that was funny. It's very hard to communicate intent on the internet. It's very hard to communicate tone in writing normally, and it's even harder, I think, on the internet because everything's so short form. Yeah. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna enable this. And so preview blocks is what I'm gonna be calling. Do I still need the merging blocks? That might be something that I keep here on this system. Merging. I kind of don't want to have a third type, though. Maybe? So right now what we do is we have this weird state where, like, as you're hovering and placing things and whatever, when you're in the middle of an activity before you've committed it, it stays in that preview blocks thing. And then right now the preview blocks and the settle blocks get merged into a third buffer called the merging blocks, just so that the auto tiler can, like, act on these as if it's the true state. But what if, and then when I settle the blocks, I add the preview blocks to the settled buffer, but why not just combine them? And then when I commit an action, you just move all of the contents of the preview blocks into, you just replace the settled buffer with the preview blocks. That has to be better, right? I wonder if it's as simple as just, I mean, it was probably just like a mem copy, but I wonder if it's even, if I could do it even more simply, like I could just like, just swap out the reference. Nah, it's probably easier to not do that. Brianna Journey, you hope they didn't feel ganged up on. You totally get their points, agree with lots of them also. You just think there's no one way to do game dev and no right way. It's just whatever is right for each person. Yeah, I don't think they felt that way. I think it helped that we took it slow and we spent like an hour talking about it. That's something that I'm having to be very conscious of, is how I'm talking and engaging with people on the internet. Because, like, you know, I've been there. When I'm just a guy in the chat, sometimes I, you know, come out swinging, say something thoughtless that, like, is supposed to be funny but doesn't come across as funny. Like, it's so easy to come across as a jerk on the internet. And so, now that I have a microphone, I'm trying to be very careful about how I do that. Both because that's what I feel like I owe to everyone, and also because, you know, it's ultimately still self-serving. Still love my coffee from this morning. It is really nice. I made it later than normal. I really enjoy having coffee. Skywalk, did you get flagged as a jerk yet? No. I feel like your emotes are engineered to make you appear so, though. Your emote usage. I enjoy it. I want to emphasize that I think it's funny. Yeah, there you go. your emotes are great. Use so many of them. I need to subscribe to your channel just so I can get them. Like, the fact that you fly into a channel usually with like that big, like that blunt emote is too funny to me. All right, so what are we doing here? So the way we're thinking about this, so this would involve a pretty big change here. And the reason we would do this would be nice because then we don't actually have to touch the buffer in the switch statement. We could touch the buffer after. We could just prepare everything. What am I using this all for is maybe my question. Let me make sure I understand what the active blocks are used for. So what do we use them for? I see us clearing them a lot. I think this might actually be very underutilized, which would actually be very good for us because we could then probably use this just as we like here. Oh yeah, these functions are dead functions. We erased them yesterday, and then I added them back in a panic. Don't, you rarely stream. No worries. I've caught the occasional stream. You seem very productive, and that productivity probably is inversely correlated with how much you stream, right? So, you know, the more I stream, the less I get done. But that's okay because we're building a community and we're doing all of this together. And I'm not that productive normally anyway, most of the time. I mean, I have my magic moments, I think everyone does, where you just sit down and like you accomplish like a day's worth of work in like an hour or two. But those moments are few and far between. I feel like people talk about this in almost every programming or developer like productivity thing is like, it's just people spend so much effort on just trying to get into a state where they can easily work. People are always talking about like protected time and like all this stuff. Random Journey, you love those days. They happened so much more often when you were younger. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think as you get older, you just have so many more distractions and responsibilities. It's so hard to just dive into the work just for its own sake. All right, so whenever we place active blocks, we try to add an active. All right, so how do we use this? Okay, that's fine. I feel like we don't use this dictionary for anything. It's the funny thing. So yeah, what if we do that? What if instead of all of this operating directly on the span thing here? Oh, it's pretty good to do this though. It's probably fine. This process is not like we're updating every block linearly. We're actually being very particular about what we're doing. So doing it in random is probably fine. The focus is there. The brain is able to hold as much context as needed and everything just flows. Yeah, that's a magical trifecta. There are some times where I just can't focus. I think that happens to people quite a bit. Okay, so we really don't use this active blocks dictionary as much as I thought we did. So I think we're going to try to use this. The only thing, though, is so now we're back to we need to positively represent erasures. So the hidden blocks thing. So the first time we operate on a block, we hide whatever's underneath it, whatever we replace it for. And we record that the block that we tried to add. But what if instead we recorded the underlying block as well as the blocks we're trying to add or remove? So, like, what if we do all of the erase? No, that's stupid. Yeah, what if we get rid of this active blocks dictionary thing and we replace it with two others? We replace it with a erased and another one replaced. This is also we can make our cut function work. This is so dumb. And I'm changing all of this. Active blocks. Content of collection active blocks is only updated but never used. Beautiful. We can just get rid of it. If it's only updated and never used, then we just can ignore it. Isn't that wonderful? Actually, no, yeah, that's fine. So what if it worked like this? So what we would do so erase blocks in, bounds. Instead of having a buffer here, what if instead it was like this? So we don't pass in the buffer yet. Skywalk, you tried some AI assistant yesterday inside your VS Code, or like GitHub Copilot. You copy pasted a full code base into a new file. Your computer locked from processing that paste. Oh no. You can't wait for AI assistant extensions to have more settings so they're actually usable. With continue and client extension. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm not thrilled with the writer AI assistant. I like it because it gets out of my way. It like very rarely suggests something, and when it does, it's usually very trivial and it's like a boilerplate thing it's trying to help me with. Problem is it's usually wrong. Like it's usually flipped something or not flipped something. Like if the last one was X something and this one's Y something, it won't always fix it all to be like, oh, this is about Y now. And then we'll get to Z and it'll be like, what are we doing? So, yeah, I haven't found much use for it. But I've heard people who have some good use cases for it around like testing combinatoric explosion kind of stuff, where they're like, we just have too many items and skills and stuff to test in combination, and like we've been able to use some machine learning for that. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. I get that actually. I mean, it's probably wrong a lot of the time, but if you're testing thousands of things and how they come together, that's millions of combinations or whatever. And it's like you wouldn't be able to do that manually anyway, so it's like whatever. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna say for each vector 3i coords in bounds. If not, oh, so here's the thing about this. Oh, we don't actually need that check. Okay, so what we can do is we can say int index equals, okay, we don't need to get the index. So what we can do is we can say hidden blocks try add coords. So it matters what we're trying to erase is the thing. So what it should be is well, it shouldn't be blocks.empty. Okay, so I do need the buffer for this. So I need to say, oh, could this be a hash set? No, it cannot. Actually, hidden blocks could be a hash set. Why did I say locked blocks? Placed. Because the hidden blocks thing is just like restore whatever was underneath here, and that's we already know what's there. So this could be a hash set. Doesn't need to be a dictionary. Nix, you actually tried out the GitHub Copilot today? Is you had to update your Visual Studio. It's not that good, but it's kind of cool how it's able to like do command line stuff and then check for errors and the like. Useless, but cool. Ran and Journey, you've used JetBrains Junie extension, which is specialized for PHP. It's been okay. It's helped with some configuration errors, like tooling being configured wrong. You sometimes use it to help figure out naming conventions, but you rarely have it write code for you. You also use AI to create FFmpeg command line options for you. You verify it before running, but that's been very useful. Nice, nice. Yeah, the most I do is, I mean, I use Google search, right? So Gemini pops up. And in my mind, it's like just the next version of search, because I basically ignore everything that the Gemini AI says. But what I do is I look at its column of references on the right, because it'll say like, here are all the web pages or articles that I use to assemble this summary. And like, I find that list more useful than the normal search page, because that list is not like clogged with sponsored links. It's like, it's at least what the AI thought were relevant articles, so I can just open up all those and be like, are these relevant? Because I find it tends to be quite wrong when synthesizing information, but what it tends to be okay at is surfacing where that information might be on the internet. You might get worse at that over time, but right now it's okay. And so that's kind of my only engagement with AI. And I kind of have no choice, because that's just how Google search works now. But that's fine, because Google search has been trash for a long time. So it's like, if it gets even a little bit better, I'll take advantage of it. All right, I'm not 100% sold on this process here. So hidden blocks. Do you not have a try? So can be null. Oh, I guess it doesn't matter. It's just coords. Oh, this isn't the function I'm working in. The function I was working in is this. Add coords. Now what we could say is, we could say erased blocks dot chords equals. You think that's a healthy engagement level? Yeah, I hope so. It's a very Italianish song. Yeah, it was nice. That was a Blue Pulcinella by Sergio Ferraresi. I can't pronounce these words. It was nice. It was nice. Yeah, this is like the chill guitars radio, which often reminds me of like RimWorld. Because it's this kind of, it's doing it right now, actually. It's like the mournful little electric, lightly electric guitar music. I feel like I'm opening a huge can of worms here. It's funny you say it's P chill, like the letter P, because RimWorld had that mod called the P music, like just the letter P music. And it was like a whole bunch of extra music. I used that all the time when I was playing just modded RimWorld when I didn't have all the expansions. It was so good. It was so much good music in there. I would add it back, but I'm a little concerned about what the copyright status is of that music. So I'm hesitant. All right, so we're going to continue trying to refactor this here. So we're going to try. Where are you not? Oh. What? Oh. Underscore. You know that mod? You used to use it back in 1.4. It's real good. Real good mod. Yeah, I'm sure I'm not going to surprise you with anything about RimWorld, Mr. 3000. Rhiannon Journey, you all are really trying to get you hooked on RimWorld. You're looking at it on Steam right now. It's pretty cool. Pretty good game. A massive patch came out today along with the expansion. So even if you just have the vanilla game, you get this big new update called 1.6. The golden ratio of game updates. It's a hard game to try to collect because it basically never goes on sale. So in this modern day of like only buying games during summer sale, it's pretty tough. The game that really took all of my attention for a minute here has been Peak. So if you have people to play with, check out Peak. Peak. Really incredible. It's got like a very much like a Spelunky daily kind of structure to it, where the game changes every day, and it's a new mountain for everyone, and everyone plays the same mountain. So it's like a Spelunky daily sort of thing built directly into the game. It's such a good game. It's good solo too. I've really enjoyed playing it solo, but it's really fun if you have a few friends to play with. It's pretty long. A climb up the mountain takes like 2 hours. So it's one of those like, it's a little much sometimes, but on like for the weekend when like you got time or whatever, you can get everyone together for a few hours, it's really fun. Also, it doesn't necessarily take 2 hours because everyone dies like halfway up the mountain. It's really good. They've sold millions of copies in like just a few weeks. And they were like, why? How? What? All right. I'm a little concerned about this refactor I'm like digging into. I feel like I'm biting off more than I want to right now. We're going to keep going. So the clipboard one, I'm a little concerned about how we're going to do this. Let's focus on the clipboard stuff in a minute, because that's part of what we're trying to rewrite here. Is how that's going to work. Okay, reveal blocks in. This is a good one. Rewrite here. So here we can say, so how does this part work then? You don't want to spoil anything. The new scenario that comes with the Odyssey DLC for RimWorld is super fun. Should that be what we play tomorrow? Because I'm just going to start a new game either way. All right, so how are we going to handle the reveal? We would just say... No, we don't want to say clear. We want to say remove. Coords. Place blocks. Remove. Coords. Remove doesn't throw an error. True if otherwise false. Yeah, that's fine. So we've got some intermediates or intermediaries, which I think is fine. I think I'd enjoy it. Okay, okay. I'll take a look at it. I'll think about it. My current game is very, you know, I'm trying to lean into the royalty and ideology stuff to try to get an idea for those features. The game I've been playing, not very much of, but a little bit. So yeah, if I make a new game for Odyssey, I definitely want to lean hard into the new content. Try that. So if the best way to do that is the scenario, the provided scenario, I will go for it. I only ever really play Crash Landed, but I'm down to try something else. Okay, so this is our idea. Hidden. Then the scenario definitely forces you to use the new DLC system the DLC brings in. Yeah, let's do it. That sounds fun. All right, place new active blocks. Anyone got weekend plans? Y'all know my weekend plans. Just play video games. Cat codes. Hey, you're making a card game in Scratch. If you finish it, will I play? Hey, cat codes. Yeah, sure. We have a Discord. You could definitely share your work there. What is an FTL? It's a game like here. Grab it here. FTL. Oh, 70% off right now. Where is it? Oh, it said it was. It's a spaceship management game from 2012 by Subset Games. Next, you're going to Venlo tomorrow. Gonna get some, getting some stuff for a housewarming party for your boss. Well, your boss sounds really cool. You're gonna go barbecuing on the 22nd. Nice, nice. Oh, no worries, cat codes. There's no reason you should know any of this stuff. We're trying to make like an isometric 3D version of this game. We're doing this in Godot. Tell me more about Scratch. I don't think I'm familiar with Scratch. How are you finding it? Nix, one of your favorite updates is that every so often they include... I can't see. It's like... Okay, there we go. It's like the interface is getting in the way. Okay, every so often they include massive optimizations for RimWorld. Like back in the day during 1.0 or 1.1, they made it so that the game doesn't take ages loading in. I feel like didn't they just say that for this, or were they talking about game execution launch or something? I feel like they did just all... I'm gonna finish reading your message because I'm sure you're gonna tell me. You used to wait around 50 minutes for the game to load in with about 400 mods in your mod list. Oh my god, I do remember how slow it would be. I'd have like maybe 50 to 100 mods and it would take like 3 minutes, 3 or 4 minutes or something, which is not 50 minutes, but after the update it went down to 5 minutes. Okay, yeah, that was my experience. It was like a 3 or 4 minute wait. Now in 1.6 they made pathing a lot more optimized. Oh, good, because I liked playing on bigger maps. I don't like playing large maps, but I do like playing the bigger, medium-sized maps. Just give me a little additional space. But yeah, I've noticed there's like a sweet spot. I'm noticing that in my game too. How like it gets exponentially worse the bigger I make it, as far as like pathfinding and things like that. You're kind of reminding me about like when I would try to load and simulate, like I'd be like, I want to play Dwarf Fortress and I want to play a large map with like a 500-year history or something like that. You try to play a large world, you want a lot of history generated about it. And then you're sitting there and you're watching the Dwarf Fortress world generator run for like 15 minutes. And it's cool because it shows you how the world is taking shape, and it tells you about like major events in history and stuff, but it's still like you're waiting like quite a long time before you get to play anything. It was cool though. You can imagine 1,000 years later. I can't do that voice. But I tried. Probably shouldn't have. Cat codes. What if you mix the card game and ship? Untitled spaceship game? Oh, you do what you want to do. Funny. Yeah, I don't know if I've heard Scratch, but I'm not familiar with what it is. Scratch, there's like it's like a game maker tool, isn't it? Oh, is it made by MIT? Oh, that's cool. Oh, it's a teaching tool. I see, I see. That's cool. That's cool. You used to program in Scratch, Nix? Nice. A million years ago, back when the world was young. All right, so the way we're setting this up now is that we're going to be just managing a lot of potential changes in like when we're interpreting commands. We're going to be doing all of this stuff, and then I think at the very end of that process, we will batch all of the changes. I think that's how we're setting up to do it this way, and I think this might be fine. I'm not sure about it. We gotta hold off on the clipboard stuff. Hey, you're not that old. Okay. Everyone says that, Nix. It's part of getting old. Part of getting old is telling people that you're not old. Cat Codes, you got the idea of cards from a streamer named Crispy RU. I'm not familiar with them. But yeah, card games are really good. Good learning case. There's a lot of room for simple mechanics, complex mechanics, cool UI stuff, because you got to get all the card bits right, like the handling the cards and everything. It's a good thing to do. All right, select. Oh, does select need to be like its own thing? Erased blocks, placed blocks. We might need another dictionary for select blocks. Oh, this could be a hash map, though. This could be a hash map. Because there's no content there. Oh, could these also be hash maps? Or hash sets? I don't think we actually need to record the block, do we? We might eventually. We might eventually. Oh, and for the clipboard, we definitely need to. Okay, no. Yeah, so erased and placed need to have a reference to the block that we're erasing and placing. But hidden blocks and select blocks don't need to. Because that's just, those are just, yeah, that's easy. Okay, cool. Let's try that. Rhiannon Journey, you're at the old, where you just accept you're getting older and it's okay. That's a good place to be. I'm worse off than you. I'm at the level of old where I'm like purposely trying to like misuse youthful jargon to make myself seem to just get cringe to make people cringe. That's like really old, right? Rhiannon Journey. In reality, you still have over half your life to live, knock on wood. Yeah. I do feel like we're moving up the midlife crisis. I feel like midlife crisis used to be like people's 50s. Now I think people are moving that up a bit. Because I feel like life expectancy is going to be going down. Cat Codes, you think the game is going to be that you have 5 cards. If you choose a correct number, the number will be random. You get to upgrade your ship. If you don't upgrade your ship for too long, you lose. Interesting. I'm interested to see how that turns out. All right, so copy to clipboard. We're gonna just hold off on this stuff. Select only active blocks. This we could figure out now. Sadly true, yeah. Yeah, I think now the time now you should be having your midlife crisis in like your late 30s, early 40s at the latest. Like if you don't have a Porsche Cayenne by the time you're like 43, you're probably behind, right? Should it be pixel or vector? Also, how far along are you in your game? Those are interesting choices. Pixel or vector cat codes. Obviously, we're doing pixel. I'm making this pixel art. I like pixel art. I think it's really nice. Godot is very good at handling pixel art. So that's my preferred workflow. However, I do know people like famous, I say other. Remove the other. Fairly famous like YouTube game devs like Armus. Armus started out doing pixel art and has moved into doing vector art. And I think that's also a reasonable thing to do. I think vector art can be very cool. So I think it would depend on you, your capabilities, your engine, what your aesthetic idea for the game is. And as far as how far into the game, I'm not good either. I'm a programmer, cat codes. I'm not a real artist. That was like one of the first pieces of pixel art I ever made. I'm like, I struggle through this stuff. And I think that piece took like a few weeks. But yeah, maybe vector art's the way for you. We've been working on this game for about a year and a half, since February of 2024. And we've been somewhat foolhardily mostly working on tools and systems designs, like some really low-level stuff. Rhiannon Journey, you think your midlife crisis was transitioning? I could see that. I feel like that's something different than a midlife. That's like almost like a, I don't know what to call that. It's like a renewal of kind. All right, so why do we do this way when we do the select? Oh, we select everything we want and then we deselect everything we don't want. That is weird. But okay, that's what we're gonna do. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna say so here we'll say select blocks dot add chords, and then we'll say, well, let's set up this other function first. Is my keyboard in pieces yet? I have gotten a new keyboard at a certain point. I have one of those crazy Kinesis Advantage 360s. The like split ergonomic keyboard. I can show you. This is the left half of the keyboard. Pretty crazy. It's good for ergonomics. It took me a long time to get used to it with all the thumb position buttons, but I almost can't go back to a regular keyboard now. Yeah, a year and a half. Cat codes. We've been doing game dev hobbyist stuff for a long time. I say we. I've been doing it. I did it in Unity for about 15 years. And then a few years ago, I switched over to Godot. And we've made a few Game Jam games. already because I like to do little weekend game jams. And then this is our big project. This is our project that we estimate is going to take, again, I say we, it's literally just me. This is the kind of game that I estimate is going to take 6 years to finish, you know? Obviously, we want to have something out before then. We're working towards like a minimum viable product, like an early access thing, which I hope to get out in maybe a year, maybe a year and a half or something like that. Did I already touch type correctly before using that keyboard? No, I mean, I've been through the trenches of Mavis Beacon like anybody, but no, it's super weird because like you can kind of see, you can probably see, look at the thumb on the left side. It's got backspace, delete, control, and alt. So like it's so weird. It's so weird to go back to a regular keyboard because everything is just in a strange place. The regular keys are not in a normal place either. I mean, obviously the actual letter and number keys are, but the arrow keys are in a weird spot. The caps lock is like under the X. It's like very strange keyboard. It took me like a while to learn. I had another Kinesis keyboard before this, so I think that helped. I had one of the non-split ones, like the single body Kinesis keyboards. And that helped. But yeah, it definitely took me a long time to get comfortable with this. And I'm still not. I'll still be like, where are my curly braces at? We as in you doing and we watching. Yeah. I say we, it's like the royal we. The streamer's royal we. Rhiannon, you estimate that if chat does their job, we can stretch that timeline. That's 6 years into 10 years. I bet we could. I bet we could. We're doing a good job right now. I've like mostly forgotten what I'm working on today. Oh, we're on like another Rimworldy song. I'm approaching this a weird way. I've decided I'm okay with this. I'm gonna say deselect. Should you stream that? You making your scratch games? Maybe. It's definitely a commitment. And it's another thing that you have to like learn. Like I'm still learning. I've only been streaming for, like I said, like a year and a half or something. And I'm still very newbie. I'm still very small. The advice is like you have to stream like nobody's watching. Because a lot of the times nobody's watching. I've gotten lucky in that it seems like YouTube is pushing my stream to people sometimes. Obviously not a lot, but sometimes. And so people are seeing it. And on Twitch, it's a small, the game dev community on Twitch is pretty cool too. So, but they're very small, very teeny small communities. So it's like, it would be more for yourself if something you want to do. So I'm curious about this, using these hash sets instead of using the buffers, and then doing the buffer operations at the end off of the hash sets. I'm interested to see how this works. All right, settle preview blocks. This is the big function here. You got to mention it again. The DLC is very cool. I was looking this morning. I was like, I wonder how many people are streaming or watching RimWorld today. It was like 17,000 people or something. So yeah, this release has been huge. People are very excited. I'm excited to play it tomorrow as well. Tomorrow I'll probably get a late lunch, or a late breakfast, not lunch, a late breakfast. Get a bunch of coffee. And then dive in. I wonder if I should just... Hold on. Do I need to pass in the buffers? Oh, we do this. We do this calculate used bounds thing. Yeah, all right. We'll do it. We'll do it there. So then when we actually want to do the settlement here, what we need to do we even use this function? I don't even know if we use this function. We must, right? Oh, no, we don't. We don't use this anymore. Well, that's fine. We're just going to encapsulate the behavior. So what we're going to do is we're going to merge the settle blocks into the preview blocks. That's fine. I've written a function for that. I've already got a function. Sorry, Cat Codes. I don't totally understand your last couple of messages. So all this is going to be is you copy the preview blocks over to the settled blocks. So we can just say block. Well, we don't even need to say merge, do we? We actually need a new thing. So we almost need a block.copy. Let's go look over here. So we're not actually talking about erase and merge. So settling the preview blocks is literally just going to be copying over. So I could almost just have a buffer. There's got to be a span function that lets me do this. Some kind of buffer span. Your work done's finally? Damn things that break just when your day ends. I know, I'm dealing with something at work where our vendor they stealth implemented a new feature that replaces the old feature completely. Like, you have no access to the old feature, and the new feature does not work as written, and it is not compliant. And it is a huge problem. And I get to deal with that for the 2 to 3 weeks that their engineering team says it's going to take to fix the thing that they released without testing. Exclusively. They released it in such a way that they just nuked the old way of doing it. It's so insane. I mean, I feel bad for the engineers because it probably wasn't totally their choice that it went this way, but like, absolutely insane that anybody would do something like that. Especially in something in an area where compliance matters. Crazy. Crazy. Yeah, it's crazy, Rhiannon. I was just in a meeting. I've been in meetings the last few days trying to like figure out what we're going to do as a workaround. It's insane. It's going to impact everyone. Like, horrible. And they were so blasé about it at first before we like explained how much of a problem this was. Nix, you just found something even cooler. They apparently also included some other mods. Oh, like they integrated some mods into the main game. I love when that happens. I feel like that's hard to do from like a legal standpoint. But that's very cool when a game integrates back some functionality from a mod. At least if they do it in an honest way. Like I don't want to see people getting their stuff like stolen or anything. So can we just say like settled blocks dot span dot copy to, can I copy to another span? Yes, I can. So we can say preview blocks dot span dot copy to settled blocks. Oh, read write blocks dot span. Oh, hang on a second. Read only span. Yeah, okay, cool. That should be nice. That should be nice. Oh, this is a static function even, huh? Honestly, this doesn't even need to be a static function. But I might do it. I mean, it doesn't even need to be a function at all. I could just write preview blocks.span.copy to settle blocks.span. I might do that. I kind of like settle preview blocks though. Let's grab that and let's move that up. Where the static functions at? Yeah, this doesn't need to be a function. I've changed my mind. Rhiannon Journey, you literally had a kickoff call with the vendor this week for a project, and a few minutes ago your boss just sent you an email with another new vendor that he's thinking of using instead of the one you just started on. Oh, I love that. I love that. Yeah, we were already thinking about dumping this vendor who did this to us. And we've thought about it many times over many, many years, and we've never pulled the trigger. But I feel like this is the, as I've heard said, the straw that broke the camel's hat. Nix, they apparently paid the guy who made the SOS2 mod. That's the old ship mod. You're not sure, you just heard it. I feel like they'd have to. Or at least they should. They don't have to, but I feel like they should. I feel like they should. It sounds egregious. It's pretty egregious, Rhiannon. It's kind of, part of it's our fault. We're using a vendor. We're like one of the largest customers of our vendor. So we're like, we've grown beyond the stuff that they provide us. Like we've gotten too big for them, but we still go with them because they like, obviously we're one of their biggest customers and like they give us a good deal and stuff, but like we've made it work and their stuff integrates with nothing. It's so hard to integrate. A huge portion of my job is just integrating this stuff with everything else. Like, are they responsible for any non-compliance that might happen because of this? Almost certainly not. No. We would be blamed, which is why we're having to figure out all these workarounds. All right, game.toolsystem.ready. What happened to your ready? Oh, you don't need it anymore. Right. I guess you need a ready. Oh, yeah, here. Just do it like this. And maybe all systems should have a ready function and it'll run even if it's blank. I don't know. Maybe I should define an iSystem that in all of those systems define a ready function and a run function. Should probably do that. That way I can at least set it up so they all run always. Yeah, it's truly a BS, Rhiannon, because they didn't think about it. They didn't think about it at all. They just did it. And they told us that they would warn us before they did it, and that we would have plenty of leeway, and that they would provide us materials and stuff, all the stuff. And then they just stealth did it at the beginning of the month and didn't tell us until after it was done. And it was like, you people. Truly insane. So maddening. All right. Okay, so I've rewritten all this stuff. So now we have this whole thing. So what we can do is we can remove pretty much every reference to one of these. So actually what I'm going to do right now is we're going to just disable the copy paste workflow, because that is complicated. Part of the reason we're doing this this refactor is so that we can accommodate the cut part, the cut and paste. The cut part is complex because it involves simultaneously placing and erasing things, which is something that we previously couldn't handle because everything was driven by the player and their use of tools. And so, like, a player either has the tool or the either eraser tool either engaged or disengaged, right? They're not doing both usually. But sometimes you might be doing both. Cut and paste is a good example. Another example would be a load, like a paste in from like a file, like a load in, where you're like, I want to load in this prefab. If you load in a prefab, you might end up replacing things, right? Which we could have treated as an exclusive merge, but that's still two things, right? If we either can treat it as an erase and then a place, or we can treat it as inclusive and exclusive merges, where like sometimes the merging thing overwrites and sometimes it just adds together. But I don't want to do that because I kind of like the idea of merge is just meaning you're adding in. Maybe place, maybe I should change place to merge. I don't know. I like placed. Erased and placed. But yeah, let's work on this. So eraser is a reveal blocks in. Oop, 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 oop. My keyboard doesn't mind if it's on sometimes. Eraser. No, it's not place blocks in. It would be erase blocks in. So this thing, this coords thing, I feel like I should just do this. I don't always do this. I feel like I should just do this at the top. Is there a reason I wouldn't? Oh, because I can't always parse it out of the command. Right. All right, so we can take the buffers out. Hover. Okay, hover is going to be interesting. So hover needs to be this. So we need to say block eraser mode, question mark. If we are in block eraser mode, it's erase blocks in prior coords. Otherwise, it's place blocks in. Can I do this? No, I can't do that. I have to say if. I have to say else. Change bounds. Do I use change bounds for anything? I feel like I added this as a thing we could do, and then I don't use it for anything. What? How do I get to... Take me to the... There we go. Change bounds, change bounds. Does anyone actually use this? Do we just set it? We only set it. I kind of want to just get rid of this concept. We don't use it for anything. I really don't like this switch statement. It's gotten so bloated. What I should do is I should just have the switch statement to parse the commands, and then I should move the actual functionality into like into a function. That's where functionality should go. Just so I can actually read the switch statement. All right, else if clipboard active, we don't care about this part. So I'm gonna hide that portion for now. Well, it's a good thing we got clipboard. It's a good thing we got the copy, cut, and paste tool in progress here. Get system singletons, that's done. Selection overlays. This needs to be back in progress because this is not something we're actively working on. The system singletons thing is fine, I think. I actually don't even want to make that a task. Feels like it's the wrong size for a task. All right, if hidden blocks.tryGetValue game.input.cursor chords outblock value. If value is empty, what in the world is this doing? Also, what is the game.input.projection? Does anyone use this? Nope, this is only set and never used. Projection. Is that supposed to be like, what is the projection? Input cursor chords with Z. It's just a point. Is it more than a point? New AABB chords. I have all these half-assed things that I've implemented here. I don't know anything about. I don't remember what they're for. Like this whole branch, I know this branch is important. I don't remember why. Okay, let's read it. If value is empty, okay. So if there is a block, but that block was empty. Oh, this is part of our projecting shadows. This is how we project cursor shadows. Oh, yeah, I actually do want to keep this. But we can't do out block value. We can just say if hidden blocks dot contains. Oh, this is how we go down until we find a block. Oh, so we're actually... Okay. So what we need to say is preview blocks dot get game dot input dot cursor chords. Why doesn't that work? Oh, we need to say this. Yeah, okay. Preview blocks dot contains. This is the wrong. This is wrong. We're gonna hide this part too, and I'm just gonna leave a note. Same. This was used for projecting shadows below down the Z axis from the input cursor towards because that's cool, and I want to go back to doing that, but we don't need to do that right now. We don't currently do that, but we definitely want to go back to that. That's the last thing I added on the to-do list was cursor block outline. I want to start doing some stuff around where the cursor is and outlining, which is tied up with the selection overlays. Is there room to say grid selection? Can I say grid selection overlay? Can I say tile selection overlay? Yeah. I'm thinking about changing the way overlays work. I have to think about it some more. I would love to be able to do it with like a shader or something, but I don't think that's going to be doable. I think we're going to need to just do it with its own tile map, which is what we're already doing. I'm thinking about doing it in such a way where it lays itself over the actual tile blocks. So that way, if you select a block that's partially occluded or obscured or whatever, it's partially blocked, you can still see the selection overlay through the blocking tile. That should be pretty easy to do. That's just some like Z indexing magic with using like an overlapping tile map. Because the half cut blocks look really cool, but they sometimes block stuff behind it that will probably matter sometimes. Or even if you're at a corner, if you're like a sideways corner, it can also be kind of tough because you're blocking half of the space with a corner piece. All right, reveal blocks in. Palette. The next step is clip. Otherwise, this active block tool is new block form. Okay. Clipboard active is false. Place blocks in. Okay, here we go. What if the eraser is engaged? So we need to say if eraser block eraser mode. I want to change block eraser mode to like maybe like eraser tool active or something like that. Yeah, what if I said that? Let's finish fixing the errors first. So hidden blocks and select blocks both refer to the settled blocks. Right? Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, block placement. Here's the meat and potatoes here. Game.input.out of bounds. I feel like I should just record this. But I'm not right now, so I'm not going to. We'll keep recording the input projection because I want to start using that again soon. All right, how does this work? Place new active blocks. Okay. Oh, I watched a movie over the last couple nights. I watched Sinners. It is good. It is good stuff. It's like a modern day. I say modern day. It's like a modern, not in terms of the setting of the film, but obviously like it was made this year. It's like a new From Dusk Till Dawn. Really good. So if you liked From Dusk Till Dawn, check it out. You need to watch it? I think you do. It's really good. All right, change bounds. We're going to forget about that. Ryan Coogler is working on X-Files as his next project. Okay. My parents will love that. I'm pretty sure they recorded over like family movies, like home movies. Pretty sure they recorded over some home movies with episodes of the X-Files when I was a kid. That was the thing that was like most important to communicate to the babysitter was like, X-Files is on at this time. If you do not turn on the VHS recorder, we will be irate. All right, command.arg.end. So right now I had that settle preview blocks function, but instead we're just gonna write we're gonna just write it out. Just write it out raw. It's just gonna be settled blocks. No, it's preview blocks dot copy to dot span dot copy to. Oh, there's a high performance toolkit version of copy. Ref enumerable. I don't know what that means. I'm just gonna use the regular version. Settle blocks dot span. It's funny, you were never allowed to watch as a kid. You have a deep love of it now. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Nyx and Hungry. X-Files weren't all that big, so you never saw it. Then again, you didn't really watch a lot of TV. I was all about the syndicated television, like syndicated TV, when I was growing up. There was a few hours between school and dinner when I really didn't have anything to do, so I would just sit. I would just sit like right in front of a little TV that we had in like in one of the rooms, and I would just watch. It was almost exclusively things like Star Trek: The Next Generation, which, big surprise, I'm making a Star Trek game, a Star Trek style game. Lawyers, don't come after me. I also watched a lot of Murder, She Wrote and The A-Team. Classic, a lot of classic 80s, 90s shows. I actually just went to a live show version. Not version. I went to a live show that was all about Murder, She Wrote. It was so fun. It was called Solve Along a Murder, She Wrote. It was incredible. I went with a friend, and we had such a good time. That was our 4th of July fun that we had. It was so good. Everyone loves Angela Lansbury. And if you don't love Angela Lansbury, you might get banned. Knock, knock, it's me, Paramount. Yeah, exactly. I'm tempted to add an options menu where you could pick which colored uniforms correspond to which, like, departments, so that you could either do, like, TOS or TNG. You could be like, red shirts are command versus, like, red shirts are, you know, red shirts. I think we're going to do TOS. I think we're going to mix them when we do our uniform colors. I've been thinking about this for a long time. And I think what we're going to end up having is yellow shirts are more like engineer types. They're more engineering. They're more like systems people. Like, they're the people that you would have go fix stuff. Like, they're very engineering oriented. And the red shirts are going to be both. They're going to be like command, but they're also going to be like, these are the people that you send on like away missions and stuff. So they're going to be like, they're going to be the people that actually get up in stuff and do things. They're going to be like, we're the commanders, but we're also the people that are like the first through the door during like a boarding action or something. I think it'll be fun. And the number of pips. Oh yeah, it's all about pips. Because, yeah, we're not going to have a lot of different, like, factions. Like, I don't think I'm going to be able to, like, draw, like, alien species and stuff very well. So we're going to have to come up with other ways to give people character. And I think we're going to do it more in terms of, like, positions and titles and, like, backgrounds. It's going to be a little more RimWorld-y, probably, as far as, like, it'll be more about their personality than it is about, like, oh, they're a Klingon, so they're this, or they're a Romulan, so they're this. Again, not literally. Lawyers listening to me. Just an example. Okay, so all of that has been rewritten. You need a capitalist faction, a warring faction, a devour everything that comes across faction, and a logical faction. I see, I see. It's probably going to be very Iliad-esque. It's probably going to be two factions that culturally are indistinct. So like the, you know, like the Achaeans and the Trojans. The Danaans and the Dardanians. You know, they're very interchangeable because obviously the whole book was written from the Greek perspective, so they were all presented as being very similar. Like there wasn't a big, it wasn't like the Persian Wars of later where like they went out of their way to like distinguish the Greeks from the Persians. In the Trojan War, they were obviously the Greeks were the Greeks and the Trojans were the Trojans, but they were like, they weren't really culturally distinct. The way they were presented, and that's kind of going to be the way we present it too, is they're going to be two major warring factions that have been locked in, you know, a 10-year war, and you are part of this. You might not be directly engaged in it as much, depending on like what missions and stuff you select, but it's going to be the background thing, as this is going to be a time of war. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how smart it is. It ties into my ideas for the setting. Where like the gods are these incorporeal like AIs. Like Zeus is like basically an AI, and Poseidon and Hera and Athena. They're going to be these kind of incorporeal beings that direct the behavior of everyone. That's going to be cool. You love that? You don't think you've ever heard me talk about the lore? I don't talk about it a lot. A big enough war going on, almost everything you do is going to run across it somehow. Yeah, true. Sounds kind of Elder Scrolly, a little. Yeah, it's gonna aesthetically, it's very much like Mobius's World of Edina, where like it's this advanced spacefaring civilization, and so like you have these characters like Stel and Atan, or Atan. And like they're very gender neutral, like they're kind of just, and you figure out, you learn later it's because like the food they're fed are like suppressants, like they've suppressed like all the natural characteristics of humanity as a way to like, you know, better control them and stuff. And I think we're gonna have a lot of stuff like that where there's gonna be, so there will probably be factions that have like rejected that, and there'll be more like quote unquote barbaric because they reject the society that they exist in. And I think it's gonna be cool. I think it's gonna be kind of cool. It'll help explain why all my crew members are little baldies. Although I think I need to take another crack at drawing hair. I think I need to take a crack at drawing like big hair. And see if big hair could be fun. But maybe we save that for the more barbaric, quote unquote barbaric factions. And everyone else doesn't have hair, or maybe they have very tightly cropped hair. But yeah, World of Edina. Go read it. Really great sci-fi. Landmark sci-fi. It's like Mobius without Jodorowsky. Coming up with lore reasons to deal with art limitations is a great idea. Yeah, that's where we're at. That's where we're at. Similarly, I'm thinking about making it so that the player character, like your character, just so that we don't have this situation where like, because I'm running into this in Void War where like your character, the commander, quote unquote, that's your character, like if they die, the run is over, which I kind of like. But if you don't have that, it's like, what's stopping you from like just scuttling your ship and taking over the enemy ship, which would be cool. So I'm thinking that the player character in most of these factions is a demigod. So like you play, if not Achilles, then one of the other demigods, like whatever. I don't know, Diomedes or whoever, doesn't matter. But you play, I don't even know if Diomedes is a demigod. I'm pretty sure he is. Um, but that means that you're like one of your parents was immortal and like one of your parents was like a god, right? So if that means that one of your parents was one AI, what does that make you, right? And I think these demigods are going to be kind of these kind of like semi-machine like hybrid things, and I think they're going to be like I think I'm going to make them part of the ship. I think I have some old art for this. I might not pilot. Yeah. Pilot. Mm. Here we go. So I have this idea that like maybe they're like part of the ship, like maybe they're part of like they're embedded in here. And so like you have a character, but that means you also have like a lose condition, which is like if your commander gets killed or if the ship blows up or whatever, you've like lost because you've died. I'm thinking of doing something like that. I think that'd be fun. I thought I expanded this to an extent. Oh yeah, something like this maybe. I think that would be cool. Maybe make this like the tip of the warp core or something if we do like the Star Trek like vertical warp core stack or something, or just integrate it into the ship in such a way. Put it in the center of the bridge or something. I think it'd be fun. I want to tie you to your ship in a way that's convincing and like also makes sense in the story. And I think if it makes sense that you're part of the ship, that could be cool. You're also kind of bigger than everyone if you're presented this way. You're like kind of a monstrosity. But maybe you can't exist separately from the ship or something. I don't know. You could also say this is just perspective because they're in water, so they appear bigger. I don't know. I have ideas. How to tie the player to the ship. I don't get to work on them very much. All right, so what do we need to do now? So now what we need to do is we need to set up this merging, quote unquote, merging blocks thing. So we don't need this because this doesn't exist anymore. And what we need to do now is, well, first thing we need to do is we need to say, so we need to like, oh, I'm out of time. So what we're going to need to do is to do combine settled blocks, combine settled blocks, erased blocks, and placed blocks into a preview block buffer for tile system. I'm gonna have to pick that up tomorrow. Not tomorrow, next week. I can work on it. Let's chat a little bit and then I gotta go. Rhiannon Journey, you like that? It's essentially a biological interface to the ship's computer. Yeah. Nix, what if your character is actually just an AI and the character model is just like a projection with nanoparticles? Can't go far because you need like special magnetic plates that's in your ship's hull and stuff. You could have a longer event where your shipmates get ready to move like your ship AI core from one ship to another. I think that could be cool. I think we could still achieve that with the like person in a tank thing. I'm reading very literally into like the demigod part of it. So like what you're suggesting might work for like, what if Zeus wants to like appear before you? Maybe they're just like, maybe they have the capacity to just be like an energy being or something like that. Or they have very advanced technology that they can project across like great distances or something. So like maybe for like the true quote unquote gods or even minor gods, like we had river spirits and forest spirits and stuff. What if you have like nebula spirits or like something like that? There could be some other cool stuff too. Skywalk, do you have a proprietary file tile system to save files? My tile files? Do you have a tile file system for tile filing? Not as of yet. We've had previous ones. Previously, what we did is we just shoved everything into a tile map data, and then we would just serialize the tile map data. But now that we've separated out the tile map data as just being an afterthought, like it's just the representation of the underlying data, it's probably going to be really easy. We really just need to save the underlying buffer along with a schema that allows us to potentially support multiple versions. Because the thing I'm scared about with just saving the data raw just is that like what if what if a version comes out and like you have to interpret different versions different ways or something like that. So we're definitely going to get, that's one of the next major things we're going to be getting into is serialization of the ship data. We're not quite in there yet. Nyx, maybe they betray you and abandon you. You don't keep them in check and make them sad or something. I think that's going to be, I think a mutiny would be a great way to lose the game. Or if there's a mutiny because you like are the ship, it would be kind of fun to like just like take the mutineers and just like jettison them into space. There's supposed to be kind of like a symbiotic relationship between the crew and the ship, and you're the ship essentially. And so like you need them to operate. And I'm going to justify that by saying like the AI or like the AI gods are like covetous. They're hesitant to just automate everything because that could give rise to like other AIs that could like threaten them. So there's a purpose. There's a reason why like most of the crew are humans, but they're very tightly controlled humans. And it's that. It's to maintain power and control. So I think it's going to be kind of cool. There's obviously still a lot to flesh out. But it is something we think about. Have I ever read the Live Ship Traders books by Robin Hobb? No, I haven't. What do we got going here? I'm not a big fiction reader. Novel series. Oh, this looks cool. Ship of Magic. Ship of Destiny. Ship it. And trilogy of fantasy novels. Nautical fantasy series. Cool. Often regarded as this author's best work. Oh, okay. Maybe I gotta check this out. It's a fantasy series where some ships are made of wizard wood that is awakened to become sentient. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. All right. I gotta run. This has been fun. You'll warn me, it can be dark and miserable. Dark and miserable is good. But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. We're gonna do a fun RimWorld Let's Play, partly sponsored by Nyx, who got us some RimWorld expansions very kindly. So thank you, Nyx. I already bought Odyssey, so we'll play with Odyssey enabled. We might play that scenario. I'm gonna check it out. But yeah, that'll be fun. Not as cool as the new DLC though. No, but it was on sale, and you know I had been kind of remiss in not getting it. Bad things happen to the characters a lot. No worries. I'm okay. I'm a tough nut to crack here. Just don't spoil myself. Oh yeah, good point. I mean, I'm just gonna look at like what the scenario intro text is and like the conditions of it. But But yeah, see you all tomorrow. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And I'll see you all next time. Bye.